How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Murphy Street Podcast. I'm the host of the show, Murphy, and here on Murphy Street, rules are simple, always the same, shoes and slippers at the door. Come inside and let's talk story. Let's get to it. We're here to talk about Ahsoka, the fourth episode. It is called Fallen Jedi. Just remember this, after today, we've exhausted everything that we've seen in the trailer, so we will now be in what I always like to call uncharted territory. This is going to be where the show starts to get really interesting. By the way, this was a great episode. Since the episode name was The Fallen Jedi, the question is it about Baylan? Is it about Ahsoka? Is it about Ezra? Here's the thing. When we get the Rosario Dawson Sabine dynamic, the Ahsoka Sabine dynamic, there's such a great disparity in my opinion. Rosario Dawson is so much more believable as Ahsoka than Sabine, and I am not a big fan of the character, even less so after this episode. Maybe we should just put the helmet on her for most of the scenes. And this is what I'm thinking, because not to say that Pedro Pascal is a bad actor, but I will say this. I feel like that we've gotten so used to the Mandalorian as Din Djarin with his helmet on that now to watch him act with his helmet off might take away a bit. So I'm thinking that maybe for Sabine, if we got a little bit of a dose of her with the helmet on, I think it might actually help the believability of the show and maybe my interest in the Sabine character altogether. We get our first ever intense droid fight between Hu Yang and an HK droid. It was pretty dope. Sabine thinks Hu Yang messed up again, but Ahsoka knows better. And I get my wish. Sabine dons the helmet and comes down blasting, and already this episode is getting really good. And then this happens, okay? Ahsoka, one, she impales the person with her lightsaber in behind her. Force picks up one of the other assailants, pushes him in the path of the shooter that's trying to shoot at Sabine. That shooter kills that guy. Then she throws the dead body at the other. I'm not sure that is what Jedi are supposed to use the Force for. I like the character, Hera. I do not like the look of the character, though, and I get it, it's hard. I'm not sure what I don't like. I don't know if it's the eyes or the green prosthetics. And as I said, Sabine with the helmet on is just better. Like, the problem is solved. More helmeted scenes, please. Filoni, Favreau. I know that you guys actually listen to the Murphy Street Podcast, so please listen to this. Give Sabine Wren more helmeted scenes, and we will have a better show, period. Because if she has her helmet on, there's more action. If she has her helmet on, there's less disparity in the acting prowess happening on the screen in front of us. This entire thing starts off dark, and Ahsoka just felt so much darker, and much to the telling of the dark side, I think she felt more powerful as she tapped into the dark side of things. And so now I think we see the theme unfolding where Ahsoka's maybe giving into the dark side just a little bit, and that's why, again, she is that rogue Jedi. She's the middle of the road Jedi. Ahsoka bests Marek in a very anime moment, like the way she did it. They kind of like stood up, like did a showdown, and then they kind of like almost like a Dragon Ball Z ninja scroll where you just kind of like cross pass each other, and one person gets halved and the other person's just like standing there in their finishing pose. And this is what I want to talk about, because I really love this part. I don't know what the hell happened. This was more like a scene from Hellboy than anything else, but I was like, okay, I don't know what just happened to Marek, but I'm glad that I'm not the only one who was haunted by that yell. Even Shin Hati stops. When he dies, he lets out this really haunting yell. I would have thought that they'd have Baylan kneeling in wait for Ahsoka, but instead he's just sitting, more like Endgame Thanos in Episode 1 Qui-Gon. I thought he'd be squatting there meditating like Qui-Gon was when he was waiting for Darth Maul. But instead they had him kind of like sitting on the rock like Thanos in Endgame in the gold armor when he was waiting for the Avengers, if you guys remember that. And I thought that was an interesting play, and I wonder if they meant for it to look like that. We finally get Ahsoka versus Baylan, and Baylan seems to overpower Ahsoka greatly. He's even more agile than I thought he'd be. You know, he looks like this old guy, but they have him like doing all these moves, and I'm just like, whoa. We see Baylan Skoll destroy the star map in one of the most epic lightsaber uses ever. We see Baylan Skoll just destroy the map in like a very just gangster, just like whoosh, and destroys the map. And I always tell you guys that I love seeing scenes play out the way that we imagine them being, that we never had the luxury of seeing before. We now are being satisfied in so many different levels with the way that they're shooting this and executing these scenes, that I can't be any more happier about a lot of the things that we see here.